Which TVs are worth your hard-earned cash when it comes to Black Friday deals? The most popular OLED model is likely going to be the LG C2, just because of its sheer value for money and comprehensive screen size offerings. You'll get true blacks, vibrant colors, wide viewing angles, and near instantaneous pixel response time from OLED whose pixels can be switched on and off independently of each other. The LG C2 will appeal particularly to gamers, thanks to its very low input lag, 4 full bandwidth HDMI 2.1 ports that can do 4K 120Hz Dolby Vision not available from any other OLED brand, compatibility with all 3 main VRR formats including the open standard HDMI Forum VRR, AMD FreeSync Premium and NVIDIA G-Sync, as well as the most accurate HDRG implementation on the market. And there is a wide variety of screen sizes and price points to choose from, ranging from the 42-inch C2 which can be used as a PC gaming monitor, to the massive 83-inch C2 that will deliver a super immersive viewing experience. If you want the very best OLED TV from LG in 2022, the step-up G2 will be equipped with an additional heatsink to deliver up to 20% higher measured peak brightness at D65 white point compared to the C2 at equivalent size, as well as reduced image retention due to improved heat dissipation. The G2 also comes with a 5-year panel warranty from LG Electronics that unofficially covers burn-in, which may be worth the price premium over the C2 for some of you. Although remember that you will need to pay more for a separate tabletop stand if you don't intend to wall mount the G2 Gallery series, which was originally designed for wall mounting and so doesn't ship with the stand included in the box. Here is an interesting tidbit. Among all the televisions this year, the LG C2 and G2 have received the most requests for the calibration service offered by UK electrical retailer Crampton under my supervision, and for good reason. No other TV manufacturer besides LG Electronics provides full 3D light calibration capabilities on its TVs to achieve near-reference color accuracy, so much so that LG OLEDs are the only ones recommended by Dolby in their Dolby Vision Color Grading Best Practices Guide. Note that the document was last updated in February 2021, and so doesn't include the latest models such as the C2 and G2. Furthermore, the 3D LUT calibration can also be performed in game mode for SDR, HDR10, and even Dolby Vision, rectifying the default out-of-the-box inaccuracies including crushed shadow detail on some units. So it's no wonder that many buyers of LG OLED TVs from Crampton have also gone for their calibration service, which has been very well received. Now discounted to £200 for all C2 and G2 screen sizes until the end of November as part of the retailer's Black Friday campaign. Among 2022 televisions, the second most purchased calibrated TV from Crampton was the Sony A95K QD OLED, which was voted as the best TV of 2022 in our annual TV shootout event. The professional judges, who didn't know which TV was which, were very impressed by the A95K's class-leading video processing, especially in gradation and also retrieval of bright highlight detail in challenging HDR10 content with its dynamic tone mapping. In addition, the QD OLED panel on the Sony A95K effectively eliminated near-black flashing artifacts, as well as delivered higher peak brightness and color luminance than last year's Bravia A90J. One quirk on Sony OLED TVs, including the A95K, is that the default white point in the most accurate custom picture mode has been set at factory to be bluer than D65, and one of the biggest benefits of getting a Bravia OLED calibrated is the realignment of Sony's overly cool white point to D65, namely the standard widely used within the film and broadcast industry. Crampton Black Friday calibration price for all 2022 Sony OLEDs, including the Bravia A80K, A90K and A95K QD OLED, has also been reduced to £200 throughout November. Another QD OLED television on the market apart from the Sony A95K is the Samsung S95B, whose key advantages are the highest peak brightness and color volume among OLEDs this year, top-notch screen uniformity and viewing angles, not to mention 4 full bandwidth HDMI 2.1 ports. Although at the time we filmed this video in November 2022, The now retracted firmware of 1403 has introduced some HDR/VR gaming issues which I'm investigating and liaising with Samsung for a potential fix. Of course, the biggest appeal about the Samsung S95B is its very competitive price point, especially for a first-generation QD OLED. One TV brand that's ignoring QD OLED and sticking firmly with WRGB OLED is Panasonic, whose OLEDs are renowned for their class-leading color fidelity and near-black luminance accuracy out of the box. The flagship Panasonic LZ2000 has been measured to be the brightest WRGB OLED television on the market, and new for 2022, the Japanese manufacturer has also launched its first 42-inch OLEDs in the shape of the 42LZ980 and 42LZ1500, and we suspect that the less expensive 42LZ980 will be more popular among gamers. Regardless of whether you buy the smallest 42-inch LZ980 or the biggest 77-inch LZ2000, Crampton Mall is also offering its special £200 discounted calibration price on all 2022 Panasonic OLEDs until the end of November. Now, you may have noticed that so far I've been mostly talking about the strengths of each TV brand. So for balance, let's go through some known weaknesses. While improved over last year's implementation, LG's True Motion Interpolation algorithm still tends to cause some microstutter in 50Hz broadcast content, especially during hand gestures and head movements. Also, due to the presence of white subpixels, brightly saturated colors in HDR content generally look darker than those presented by QD OLED televisions, which boast higher color luminance. The same applies to the Panasonic LZ series, which exclusively use WRGB OLED panels, and on top of that, only 2 out of 4 HDMI ports are HDMI 2.1 due to the MediaTek HDMI 2.1 chipset, whose native 10-bit gradation was subpar. And there's no smooth gradation decontouring filter in the picture menu to mitigate the issue either. Sony OLED televisions are also limited to 2 HDMI 2.1 ports out of 4, but thanks to the addition of a coprocessor in the Bravia XR picture engine, native 10-bit gradation was smoother than Panasonic's, class-leading in fact. However, near-black luminance on Sony OLED TVs has been designed to track brighter than reference, which can cause some dark scenes to lose image depth and clarity owing to shadow detail compression. The QD OLED panel on the flagship Sony A95K Master Series OLED is not equipped with a polarizer, and so will manifest grayish blacks when hit by light, a phenomenon which affects the Samsung S95B QD OLED too. Due to Samsung's HDR10 tone mapping method, which is based on Max MDL instead of Max CL metadata, some titles which have been graded conservatively but put in a 4000 nit container would occasionally come across darker than reference depending on the scene APL, and this shortcoming is not helped by the lack of Dolby Vision support on all Samsung televisions so far. The bottom line is, there is no perfect TV out there. Each television will have its own strengths and weaknesses, so which one is most suitable for you will depend on your own viewing habits, preferences and tolerances. If you are stuck and don't know which TV you should go for, the knowledgeable staff at Crampton Mall will be on hand to give you unbiased, independent advice, as well as the best prices not only on Black Friday weekend, but also every day throughout the sale period. If the phone lines are busy, you can use the live chat feature which can be accessed through Crampton Mall's website. Otherwise, if you would like to find out how these high-end TVs perform against each other in different picture quality categories such as motion handling, picture processing, and bright room performance, you should watch my coverage video of our 2022 TV shootout event by clicking here.